Okay, everybody. I wanted to come back. I wanted to do back-to-back episodes tonight because I really wanted to talk about this subject and history. And it's really important that we know our history over here. And running across this story was just really heartbreaking because of the fact that there's a lot of stories on African Americans that were falsely convicted and, pretty much punished for crimes that they ain't commit. So it's just been stories after stories of exonerations and people being locked up for crimes that they ain't commit. And I wanted to discuss this in this episode because it's just been on my mind. But we're going to be talking about the Groveland Four. And these consist of teenage boys who was at the wrong place at the wrong time. And let me get started. The Groveland Four were four young African American males. Ernest Thomas, Charles Greenleaf, who was 16, Samuel Shepard, and Walter Irvin, who in 1949 were falsely accused of raping 17-year-old Norma Paget and assaulting her husband on July 16, 1949, in Lake County, Florida. Thomas fled and was killed on July 26, 1949, by a sheriff's posse of 1,000 white men who shot Thomas over 400 times while he was asleep under a tree in the southern part of Madison County. Greenleaf, Shepard, and Irvin were arrested. They were beaten to confessions, but Irvin refused to confess. The three survivors were convicted at trial by an all-white jury. Greenleaf was sentenced to life because he was only 16 at the time of the alleged crime. The other two were sentenced to death. In 1949, Harry T. Moore, the executive director of Florida NAACP, organized a campaign against the wrongful conviction of the three African Americans. 2 years later, the case of the two defendants reached the Supreme Court of the United States on appeal, which special counsel of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, Thurgood Marshall, as their defense counsel. In 1951, the United States Supreme Court ordered a retrial after hearing the appeals of Shepard and Irvin. It ruled they had not received a fair trial because no evidence had been presented, because of executively advised publicity, as well as because black people had been excluded from the jury. The court overturned the convictions and remanded the case to the lower court for a new trial. So basically, what they trying to pinpoint is that one of the boys was shot by 1,000 white men over 400 times. And that just clearly states the terror in these boys' eyes, because they was just trying to help a couple. because I believe they had car troubles or something like that. So it just, in these type of cases, man, this is why I really stress about us sticking together, because we have been done so wrong in these, many years of being African Americans and whatever you call yourself, black, Negro, colored, whatever. But it's just that we've been humiliated so long and so much of the fact that we turn on each other, because it's easy to turn on each other and stuff. So that's why it's just really important that we stick together by all means. Let's just stop the hatred. Pretty much 2 years later, in November of 1951, Sheriff Willis V. McCall of Lake County, Florida, shot Irvin and Shepard while they were in his custody and handcuffed together. McCall claimed they had tried to escape while he was transporting them from Railroad State Prison back to the county seat of Tavares for the new trial. Shepard died on the spot. Irvin survived and later told FBI investigators that McCall had shot them in cold blood and that his deputy, Yates, had also shot him in an attempt to kill him. Harry Moore called for the governor of Florida to suspend McCall on Christmas night, 1951. A bomb went off below Moore's house, fatally wounded both him and his wife. He died that night, and his wife followed 9 days later. The bombers were never caught. At the second trial, Irvin was represented by Marshall and again convicted by an all-white jury and sentenced to death. In 1955, his death sentence was commuted to life in prison by recently elected Governor Leroy Collins. He was paroled in 1968 but died the next year in Lake County from natural causes. Greenleaf was paroled in 1962 and lived with his family until he died in 2012. In 2016, the city of Groveland and Lake County each apologized to the survivors of the four men for the injustice against them. In April 2017, a resolution of the Florida House of Representatives presented that all men be exonerated. The state of Florida Senate quickly passed a similar resolution. Lawmakers, called on Governor Rick Scott to officially pardon the men. On January 11, 2019, the Florida Board of Executive Clemency voted to pardon the man, newly elected Governor Ron DeSantis subsequently did so. So, this just clearly shows that you can kill us and then also apologize decades later. These was kids. These was like pretty much middle school, high school kids who was at the wrong place at the wrong time. And it's just crazy to me how you have people who haven't been punished. These men are dead and gone now, who did shot these kids and, put them through terror, put them through hell. And I just tell people that it's just really important that we know our history, because knowing your history will allow you to understand why they do the things that they do and why they continue to create this narrative that, we're the problem and we're the gang members and we're this and we're that. But, you know what I'm saying, these people wore badges. And people wonder why we're angry, and they wonder why we have a chip on our shoulder, and they wonder why we react the way that we react because of the fact of what we had to go through as people. Nobody has suffered as much as the American Negro / the American Indian. Nobody has ever went through such trauma, such pain, such just discrepancy. We were born in this country, and to this point, we don't even get the benefits. We don't reap the benefits. Everybody else can come here and capitalize. Everybody can come here and get the bag, but us, we settle for crumbs, and that's why it's just really important that you know your history, because it has a way of repeating itself. It has a way of proving how people really felt about us this whole time, and we just got to be careful. We just got to be able to teach the newer generation of these many accounts, and we just got to stop playing against each other and planning towards each other. The betterment of our future and the betterment for our neighborhoods and our communities, and just really, have just the sense of being unified and being together, because that's the only way this is going to work. That's the only way we're going to survive, because we at war with the enemies, the people that's trying to destroy us. We at war, and we are even at war with our own people. So we got to be really cautious and really aware of who can we trust and who we can't trust. So I'm out, y'all. Thank y'all for this brief history lesson. I'm finna catch some seas. Got a long day ahead of me tomorrow, but it's always a pleasure. Peace.